So let me give a bit of opening here. This is our conversation with our friends from Focus Filtration and Engineering Limited in Kwun Tong today on 18 June 2020 in their office in Kwun Tong. We're talking to Sherlyn, the business director, and Jimmy Choi, the project director, and Lisa Lee, the sales manager. Thank you. So I will let you folks start.
Just a very short,
Sure.
few slides for
Sure.
you to understand the process, how
Sure.
nanofilter was born. We spent on developing nanofilter. So actually, we have started from a first one talent conference while I was in Bali, Indonesia, having vacation. I never met Dr. Kong before. And I didn't even know who he is until today. And then after one teleconference, one meeting, and one factory visit, which happened is just within a week.
You mean teleconference with Dr. Kong? Or with who? Teleconference with who?
Oh, with Dr. Kong.
With Dr. Kong, okay.
Yeah. And meeting also with Dr. Kong and their team, and the team who made the cloth mask.
Yeah.
And then after that, Dr. Kong came to our factory in order to conduct some testing on the cloth fabric and all sorts of possible filter material, like the kitchen paper, tissue paper, and then all kinds of things he could think of.
So he wanted to buy from your company. So he's doing the testing.
Not buy from the company. He just want to understand more. What's the possibility of the filter media can be used in case there is no mask, nothing. But his aim, his objective is better than none. Trying to find alternatives. So in these 2 weeks, what we have done is, all sorts of meeting and then discussions, testing, a number of testing, many testing, repeated many testing, and eventually we agreed to provide him some, the things looks like that we call the microfilter, in order to use together with the cloth mask.
Okay.
This is what we have done from the very first 2 weeks. Actually, his ultimate objective is looking for nanofilter, which is our core business. However, our nanofilter is mainly for air filter. It's not for mask. Air filter like for the HVAC.
For buildings.
Yes, for the hospital use. The collection efficiency of such filter is extremely high. Therefore, the resistance is also very high, which is not compatible for human lungs. So we spent 3 weeks in order to find a new recipe to change our air filter recipe to which can adapt to the suction of lungs recipe, but have certain protection, certain collection efficiency. So
because the current industrial nano is too not breathable, can I say so?
Yes.
If you wear for human, it's difficult to breathe.
Yes,
so you need to make it less dense.
Yes, less dense. But this less dense is a fine line between collection efficiency and pressure drop.
Yeah.
I will explain more in our next page.
Sure.
So here is only telling you, we all together we spent about 7 weeks. We are already starting from supplying the microfiber to nanofiber, which already have got the approval from the PFE and Delta P pass all these crucial requirements. Yes, and then we starting supplying the nanofilter. Not much at that moment to Hong Kong mask. And at the end, up to before end of March, we already formulated another product we didn't have here. But that home series that is another thing which combat with the COVID-19. Why I said that? Because this nanofiber contains some medical grade agent in order to kill bacteria at 99%. Bacteria such as the common bacteria such as S. aureus, E. coli, things like that. So you can see that in just 7 weeks, we have 2 completely new products arised in order to combat COVID-19. So I think this is just like what you started from our conversation. That there was no factory in Hong Kong, but all of a sudden there are plenty in about months.
Yeah.
When we met Dr. Kong, he knows so well about microfiber.
Because he is a
microfiber,
chemistry teacher for 30 years.
Yeah. And but at that moment we call that microfiber because everybody called it microfiber. Actually, the specific term we call is PP melt blown.
Okay.
Now everybody know PP melt blown. No strange to them.
Yeah.
But at that moment, since we met, he's always emphasized, he always insists to have nanofiber. Here is the comparison between microfiber and nanofiber. The reason why I explain so, because I want you to understand how difficult and how much we have spent in order to formulate a new recipe for mass material. The biggest challenge for nanofiber is they are too fine. The fineness need a bed we call substrate to hold the nanofiber in place. So imagine that substrate minimum we have to use. If the number when I tell you, so you may not have some good idea about what I'm talking about. Okay, now we are using the 30 GSM, which is 30 gram per square meter, in order to hold the nanofiber in place. Okay, so compared to nanofiber and microfiber, their filtration methodology is nearly, for microfiber they are using electrostatic coldly charged ion. For nanofiber, it's very simple. They are just using their fineness because their pore size is so small. They can trap the bacteria, even virus, up to we call micron 0.3. So if you can compare the pore size, microfiber ranges from 5.82 to 24 from something micron.
Yeah.
To nanofiber, please look at the number in the bracket.
Yeah.
Which is apple-to-apple comparison, the unit is
0.46.
Yeah. So you can understand which is about like microfiber, the pore size is a lot, like 16 times bigger than the nanofiber. So nanofiber is simple. The only, what we call the core filtration mechanism is all happen to their fineness. That's it. Microfiber will be, undermined. The performance can be undermined by humidity, and the time exposed. The longer they expose to the UV or what, the lower their collection efficiency. This is the drawbacks of microfiber, which never happened to nanofiber. So I think you have some understanding why Dr. Kong focuses so much on nanofiber. And then we come to next page, how much we have done so far. You have asked me about to prepare some beginning and the latest nanofiber. Here, the top diagram is telling you lamination structure. Look, lamination, that's the structure of the laminate for the air filter, okay? So we normally use the material that is totally different from mask material. And then down there, you will see the laminated structure of nanofilter for Hong Kong mask. There are two stages. The diagram on the left is the beginning stage. You can see there are 3 layers only. Very simple. Because I think we believe that the simple the best. But it doesn't work. I'll tell you explain later why it doesn't work. And then recently and finally we developed as 4 layers. If you can compare on the table, I already tell you that the air filter consists of 4 layers, whereas Hong Kong mask in the beginning stage is 3 because we want it to be more breathable.
Yeah.
But eventually it still end up at 4 layers, which is we don't want to, but we have to in order to make it happen. In terms of grammage, we call grammage. It was we just call GSM. Yeah, gram per square meter. For air filter, it is 110. This is the lowest we are doing now. And then in the beginning stage for the Hong Kong mask, like I said, I want it to be more breathable, light, and most importantly is affordable, which is Dr. Kwong request. It have to be affordable, okay. Then we developed 55 grams. Eventually, we end up as 80. The reason why I have such changes is our production equipment. When we build that thing, this is for nanofilter things, it's very custom made. No standard. Because there is not much people, not much player producing nanofiber in the world. We build this thing. As you already understand the fineness of nanofilter, the differences, the tolerances between that lamination. Can you see I said the lamination here? I have we call lamination is, here. Can you see the dot pattern here? Yeah. This is what you call lamination. This is done by ultrasound.
So this is already 4 layers. Very thin.
Let me try. Yeah, this is 4 layers.
Yeah.
This is the beginning one. The 3 layers.
The 3 layers, okay. This is much more see-through than this. Slightly better filtration, the newer one.
In terms of filtration, Yanto, look, in terms of filtration, FE stands for filtration efficiency. In terms of filtration, they are about the same, no matter 3 or 4. Because all the filtration function happening in the nano layer, which is, you can't see that thing. I have the arrow on it. Maybe I emphasize later, the green part is the nanofiber, but actually it's not that thick. In terms of grammage, 1 gram of nanofiber, the surface area is almost equal a football course size. 1 gram only. So you can understand how it's invisible. But when we encounter the challenge to laminate only 3 layers with the grammage of half of our air filter, do you know what happened?
Tell us.
It's like nightmare. We try to, because it's so thick, right? It's now half the size, half the thickness, and half the weight. And we try to, press down the, that dot thing, get it closer, and then they are not synchronized. Some can do, some cannot do. Do you know, can you imagine the scrap rate of it? Because from your point of view, if you find there is dot here, there is no dot here, what do you think?
Yeah,
honestly.
Standardized. No, there's a lack of low quality production.
Thank you. Thank you for your honesty. That's it. So we try to, manipulate this fine adjustment. We try to, press it hard, but eventually, what happened again? We damage the material. Like this tiny hole, when they get too close or too tight, there will be some tiny holes that are visible or invisible. This is totally unacceptable because such a tiny hole can pass through numerous unseen virus or bacteria. So we prefer to be looking ugly rather than dysfunction. This is our point of view.
Sure.
But this cannot be understood by most of the user.
Sure.
Do you agree?
Yeah.
So we are trying to take another try. We try and try, but eventually we give up because time is more important. We give up. We have to swap from 3 layer to 4 layer, which make the cost higher and the process slower. So that even, the cost impact on 4 layer is even much more high. But however, we already committed the price to DrCon. So Focus have to to absorb all these extra costs. When we start meeting with DrCon, we already give them some idea between microfiber and nanofiber. So this one, why I cover this? Because this is electrostatic. When you expose to something, it can just draw all the aerosol, what we call, some unseen particle onto it. You didn't see it, but it already happening.
Yeah.
For nanofiber, it never happens like this. However, can you see the puffy thing? So all these puffy thing cause the high pressure drop as well. So we have to juggle, low yield, low production yield, and looking good, but without damage the core function, the filtration efficiency.
So the functionality, which is the filtration efficiency, is the most important priority
from our perspective.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I think here is all the slide I'm going to show you. And
That's great. I'll go through the other questions.
Yeah.
So just to recapture.
Please, I just turn on the light for you.
Sure. So just to recapture, you started this because there's a request from Dr. K. Kwong, who's asking for masks. He was asking for material. He's not asking for masks because he's working with someone else to make the whole mask, which is the Hong Kong mask. Do you think if Dr. K. Kwong did not approach you, that your company will not enter or produce this material? Do you?
I would describe him as a catalyst.
Catalyst.
Yeah. He pushed us to make the things faster. When I was in Bali, Indonesia, when I first talked to him, he asked about the price. Before he asked, actually, Madeline already told me that, Dr. Kong would like you to produce the nano filter. I said, I'm not sure whether I can do it, but no, Dr. Kong wants to know the price first. I called him the price and he was not happy about it. He said, no, I can only offer you $1. But
that's what he told me.
Yeah, $1, okay, $1.
Per piece.
Yes. And then at that moment I quoted him, $3.50. This is factory cost. You probably laugh at the factory cost of it. No, I want $1. I said, at that moment I just want to hang up the phone and then goodbye. Seriously, okay. But after that evening, my factory people call me. From now on, because we have 2 factories in China. From now on, if you have no factory in your mask, there is no way to resume work. Okay, and then they told me that there is no mask in Hong Kong, no mask in China. Okay, Indonesia. Okay, I try to get some masks in Indonesia, but eventually all the masks I got very expensive plus ineffective. I try to test their filtration efficiency. The worst one, because there are so many brands, I can't have only one brand. The worst one is only 7%.
Wow.
But I spend almost like $6 to $7 Hong Kong dollar each to get it. So I just think totally insane. If I quoted to you, Dr. Kong is $350. Why didn't I do it myself? Make no sense, right? So I have second thought. I told Madeline, yeah, let's talk. Then probably we can kill two birds with one stone.
Right.
Okay, yeah, let's do this. And then we try to work together, and then eventually it happened. Honestly, it happened much faster than we thought. Because we don't have any support from the laboratory. All we have done is using our large production scale equipment. You perhaps have no idea how much we have spent on this thing. Comparing our equipment to laboratory equipment, our equipment is about 26 times larger than the laboratory one. Put it this way, if you want to start that equipment for a new formulation, new recipe, it's just like cooking. You form a polymer, like cooking soup. The minimum amount of cooking this soup is 30 liters. If that fails, you have to throw away all 30 liters of material. Plus, I have to rinse all over the equipment line for 3 days in order to start a new recipe. Can you understand? Can you imagine?
Technically very challenging in that
For
process.
laboratory, they are simple because their tank is just like a two small shot glass. Shot glass, washing a shot glass easy. But can you imagine washing an oil barrel? Seriously, it's an oil barrel, 200 liters. Plus a line.
So that process that you do is in your factory in Hong Kong?
Yes. All this happens in Hong Kong. So you can see that how desperate we were feeling at that moment. All I know is Dr. Kong pushing us for mass material. My factory pushing me for mass in order to resume work, because if we cannot resume work in time, we will fail the shipment delivery, and we will have to bear, air freight. And then when I thought of this, I was like, oh no, we have to do this, no matter what. It's just like that.
So Dr. Kwong make a request, ask you to produce the mask, but you can say no, right? So I want to know motivation. What is the motivation that you want to do this? Is it to make money, or is it you think this for what reason? What is the motivation behind it? Because you can just say too difficult, too cheap. I cannot produce at that cheap at $1. Too difficult. I will just do my normal business. Why should I do this for Dr. Kwong? I mean, what is motivation? But you want to help Dr. Kwong to develop these special materials.
I already told you that I didn't know Dr. Kong. He knows.
Because me and Madeline is his student in the secondary school.
Your former teacher.
Yeah.
But he is my partner. And then I let him tell you why.
Actually, before we are doing the air filter, the first time we get contact Dr. Kong is because we are searching for a laboratory to do the air filter testing. That's why we contact him through the Facebook. Then he asked us why you are asking this filter testing. I tell him the background of our company. Then she said, so can you use the filter for the HK mask? And just like Charlene told you, we don't know because we never do that before. Then at the beginning, why we're doing the face mask filter is honestly for our staff, we don't have the sufficient filter. So I mean the mask.
For your staff?
Yeah, for our own staff.
How many staff do you have? A lot?
150.
150. Okay.
Yeah.
So you You need to have a lot.
then we need to spend a lot, and for also for of course for the good quality. Even we buy the mask for $5 each, is you never know how about the quality. Yeah. That's why we don't do it by ourselves. We try to do it by ourselves.
He's right. Let me because I manage the factory. Do you know you cannot have, for instance, you have 150 employees. You probably thought, I get 150. No. You have to, in China, you have to provide them at least 2 masks a day. And your inventory can be last for at least 30 days. Otherwise, you are not allowed to resume work because nobody believes that you can just resume one day work and then you can all day done and then you close another day. No, doesn't work like this, right? So what we have to do is prepare everyone at least 2 a day for 30 days. And plus, our family, our staff here, everybody have no mask. We couldn't get them some, rubbish grey mask. If anyone get infected, the company will be in serious trouble. So we have to make sure that the quality of the mask is sufficient to protect them. This is a must. No negotiation, right?
Sure.
So for all these things added together, this is the biggest motivation for us. That it's not at that moment. We haven't thought about money at all. All we talk about is 2 things. We must have masks ourselves, at least for our own use. Secondly, this mask has certain protection that we feel comfortable and confident to use.
Sure. So in essence, there is no specific plan. It just
No plan.
happened. It just happened.
Just an accident.
Too fast.
Yeah.
So, okay, so you're already in the business of producing filters. How difficult, how easy it is for you to make this 4-layer mask? You mentioned that it's difficult, right? But you already have the factory, you have your own lab, you have your team, you have technical experts. But even with all this, you still think it's very difficult.
Very difficult. You know why? After all, steel mask material, the raw material, is level. Everybody's looking for
the raw
mask material, but China already banned all the export. So sources from China is hopeless.
I see.
Still until today.
Until today.
But all we could do is from overseas. When Taiwan and Japan was not that worse, we still have chance to get from the nearby country. When it happened, in our nearby country, our neighborhood, we have to source some material from Europe by air freight.
Like Germany?
We didn't buy it from Germany, no. Germany is kind of advanced country, very difficult to get. Yeah, I'm not able to tell because there are through wire a lot of channel in order to get such material. We cannot directly get from that material because at that moment it's still already very, very tense. Yeah, so like we said at the very beginning, we just try to save ourselves.
Sure.
And try to hopefully our factory can resume work in time. That is our only objective at that moment.
Sure.
We didn't think of money at that moment because all we know, if we could not resume our work, it is not just talking about making profit. We will even lose more.
Yeah.
So that is, at that moment, we didn't plan. We didn't thought of how much we are going to spend on the R&D. All we need to know is mask. And then while we already wanted to make masks so desperately, why not, sorry to use this word, but at that moment I was trying to entertain my partner to do so. Because this is my partner, he's important to me. And then he said he wanted to help Dr. Kong. Okay, while I wanted to help my factory, I would try to entertain his wish. That's it.
So I think you mentioned earlier on in the slides that the whole thing from the ideas to having the product ready was in 7 weeks.
Yeah.
right? Including trial error from 3
From
layers to
nothing.
4 layers.
From
Nothing
nothing.
to something.
Yeah.
Do you think that is a quick or a normal or a very super fast? I don't know. In your language.
Super fast, extremely fast.
So in a normal time, if you were to produce something like that, how long would you normally take you?
Good question. I don't know much about science thing. To develop air filter, nano air filter, we signed the contract in year 2016, and then we developed the material until the end of 2019 with expert team like NAMI. With their support, we finally make it, but not 100%. You know what? Probably like I would say 75%. The reason why I 75%, I'll explain to you. Here is the air filter with NAMI support.
What is NAMI?
NAMI is a research center in Hong Kong. They are under the ITB,
Innovation and Technology Bureau.
Yes.
So NAMI is a nano something.
NAMI is
Advanced Material
Nano-
Institution.
Okay. Nano Advanced Material.
Yes, if I'm correct. It's usually down lower at the left.
So the original idea consists of 5 aspects of the air filter. Antimicrobial, HEPA rating, which is high efficiency, 0.5 micron at 99.9 something %.
When you say HEPA, great filtration, HEPA, what does HEPA means?
High efficiency particle air filter.
Air filter, okay.
That's normally used in hospital, laboratory.
This is a standard, an international standard. Everybody, when you call HEPA, they all understand they are going to catch the MPPS. What's MPPS? Most penetrating particulate size. That is, today they have modified to from before was 0.3. Today they are modified to 0.1 something down to 2 something. The reason why they have such modification is back to the past state, no equipment can detect such fine aerosol. But today, getting more and more advanced, and now we are able to catch it. And now we learn more that actually, in the air consists of 90% of the allergens is such size. That is why they call most penetrating. Why? Because when they get into your lungs, they will go into your blood via the blood vessel. They can penetrate the blood vessel easily at such tiny size. So initially, we are planning to have 5 different aspects. HEPA collection efficiency, versatility is can be like a pleated filter, can be a flat filter, can be any form you like.
Okay.
And then can we move VOC?
What is VOC?
Volatile organic compound, like the most common one you probably know, formaldehyde.
Formaldehyde.
Yeah, this is one of the VOC.
So the material in the paint.
Yeah. So any smell or VOC is very specific, but you can take it as a cigarette smoke. When you do the cooking, you don't want the oily smoky smell. Yeah, they can remove all such. And then they will have better airflow because of the relatively large surface area of nanofiber. Just like I told you, that 1 gram can equal the surface area of 1 gram nanofiber equals a football match size. Yeah. And then last one is the antibacterial activities. So here is a comparison between the conventional HEPA filter. Conventional one, they both do the same filtration efficiency. Why multi-HEPA is a bit better? Because in terms of antibacterial, because normally, imagine a HEPA filter is so good to catch the tiny particulate, like the bacteria. Once they catch it, okay, they stuck in the filter. What happened next? During the favorable climate, they grow. And they will have a family, a grand family, a grand family for a long time. So every time when you turn on the aircon for after the winter's gone, you will smell something. That is mold. Because they already, many families or are trapped there. Then you can smell them, big enough to smell them. But if you have some, agent branded in the nano filter, they will kill it immediately. They will damage their cell membrane in order to not allow them to survive. Why we said the project with NAMI is only 75% successful, because in terms of VOC, it's not as effective as we thought. It does, but it takes time. It cannot be happen like, the antibacterial, okay, kill them instantly. No, for this one, it's so time consuming, time taking. Even we try many different time intervals, like 3 hours, 8 hours, or even up to a month. That things happen significantly to remove the VOCs up to a week or so. So that's the reason why we call it like 75% successful. I hope this can answer your question.
Okay.
How fast we can develop a mass filter. Please understand one thing very, this is a kind of common sense thing. The higher the collection efficiency, the higher the resistance. Agree? So far, HEPA have been in this year since 1945. Never have been changed. The biggest challenge is people want to catch more things, want to capture more dust particle. But they also juggle with lower pressure drop, lower air resistance. Why? Because if the air resistance is so high, okay, none cannot be adjusted, but machine can be adjusted by the motor, the power of the motor. So they use the high power in order to, to get more air flow, but this is not kind of, from energy saving point of view, this is not good. And this is the reason why also when they catch all the bacteria, okay, they always depend on either multiple filter to do the job healing the germs, or using another electrical devices such as the ozone thing, the ionizer thing. Every people now seeing in the street they are carrying a mini.
Yeah. What is that? It's an air filter?
Yeah.
You call that air filter? I don't think this is air filter. This is we call ionizer.
Ionizer.
You know what's ionizer? It's like, okay, it's so funny. This thing, microfilter. Do you know why they can attract all the particle in the air? Do you know why? Because when we call that term is electrostatically charged material. Between us, among everything, there is positive and negative, right? So they take away, can't remember whether they take away the negative one or take away the positive one. Anyway, they take away one. Then they become so desperate to find friends.
They will stick to him, to microfiber.
Yes. That is how they work. That is how they work this thing. That's the reason why, for that reason, their biggest enemy is humidity. Yeah, because they can't choose, okay? They can't choose, oh, you're so beautiful, I want you to be my friend. No, you can't choose, no matter beautiful or not. You have to, you must have it, okay? So water droplet is the same. The more droplet they draw, the lower the efficiency it will happen to them.
So this microfiber will not be very effective during summer?
After wearing for
a long time.
Because the water vapor, the moisture when you breathe. Yeah.
Sure. You mentioned earlier on that your main decision is actually to make masks for your staff or family members, etc. But is your decision to produce this nanomaterial for masks, is this decision related to the social political environment in Hong Kong?
Thinking back,
Actually, yes, a little bit yes, because we have some project in the hospital, the engineering project. Yeah, we see the workers there. Actually, they're working with the mask, and after the morning, the mask is all wet, but they don't have the time to queue for the mask. You know, you need to wait for 4 to 5 hours for a box of mask, and they don't have the money. So that's why I'm talking to Charlie. Maybe that's what we can do. You know, we need to do some mask for ourselves, or maybe we do some more. Of course, we need to discuss with Dr. Kong for the price, because we also have a cost for ourselves. Maybe that's kind of social responsibility for us to other guys. Maybe that's what we can do.
Sure.
Yeah. We are not that honestly. We are not that kind, and we do some filter for free for everyone. We cannot do that.
Yeah, because you are a business.
Yeah, we cannot do that. But we just try to do our best, what we can do. Yeah.
Okay. So right now I heard, I don't know which is the right number, there's about 70 to 100 face mask factories in Hong Kong.
wow, I didn't know that number.
Do they have any one of them buy from you, buy your materials, or if not, where do you sell your materials to?
Yanto, you know what? It's not easy to make this mask material. Although this is just a few minutes story, but it's not like what you could imagine. The yield of this material is very high. Yes, I didn't explain this too. When we juggle to laminate 3 layers, and then eventually we have to give up to 4 layers. The reason is, at that moment, no one can come. No support. Our equipment can be, actually, we thought our equipment can be adjusted to adapt the new combination. Mask material, this one and that one is made of polypropylene, which is, the melting point of this thing is around like 110, 130.
Celsius.
Yes. Air filter material is made of PET. The melting point is around 190 to 200 something. Can you imagine when we laminate this material? It's nightmare. It's all melt, all damage. We spend nights and nights and nights to overcome the problem by ourselves, on our own, but without any success. We try to invite the technician to come and help. No one can come because all banned. All we can do is via telephone, Skype, everything. But they are not, some of them, many of them at the latest are not at work. Can't find anyone. All we have to can do is try and error. Can you imagine such like that? It's so tense. And then every day all we talk about it. Whenever we can still awake, stay awake, continue. We're just doing something that we never know before. Force ourselves to do something that would never happen before, just like this. So, honestly, mask material to me is just like that. We did receive a lot of inquiry after the press conference by KCON. A lot, plenty of them. He got WhatsApp message in just the press conference, 600, asking for material. And I told you, please give me a break. No, The reason why is our capacity is not built for the mass material. I make air filter, and the air filter, do you know how big it is? Lisa, can you show him our air filter? And then you will understand. This is not the biggest one.
This is not the biggest one, but I shared.
This is they put in the hospitals.
Yeah. Some hospitals, some clean room.
Wow.
Will
This
use
is
it.
more the middle size.
Yeah, this is our middle size. If I, stop our line production machine to make mass material, I spend weeks and weeks and weeks. But it takes me the same time to complete such a large surface area of air filter, and we are not doing 100, we're doing 1,000. So I told Jimmy, I think we can save ourselves. Is already happening.
Yeah.
So the 600 people who request to buy from you, they want to launch their own factories. They need to buy from you the material. Is that right? No?
Some of them they just want to buy the material. Some of them they want to. They think we are doing the mass because maybe someone mislead them.
At that moment, people are so confused.
Yes.
Really, so confused. They didn't care. Oh, when they learn something, that mask, no matter mask material or mask, okay, I try. Because all they wanted is like us, mask. And many of them, some of them for themselves, some of them just for try to, making profit. Many of them try to make profit, try to get a prize. And then at that moment, we are all crazy. So at that moment, we were crazy too, The only strategy we can do in order to stop inquiry is what? High price.
High price.
So all we have to do is fulfill our commitment to KCON. Fulfill our commitment with my family and staff. And the rest, if we could, we will select some reliable associate in order to benefit more people. Again, still, for those associates we valued, we will offer them a reasonable price. It's not like, for those we think you just try to make profit from it, forget it. If you want to make profit, then why not me?
Yeah. Let's say first is the file too big. So who do you sell to right now? Your nano fiber material.
For the time being, until today, we only have selling to KCON team, which is Hong Kong mask. Yeah, so
do you sell to any other big mass factories in Hong Kong?
Another one is Vita Green.
Oh, Vita Green. I never heard of
Yeah,
Vita
just
Green.
like this one. The reason why we sell to Vita Green is we have the same intention. The owner of Vita Green is a doctor. She is a doctor herself. And she witnessed a lot of people, the medical staff, very, very desperate. We came together. She has a clean room, which we don't have. If we want to help more people, Yanto, we must have a clean room. Otherwise, the public liability will be very severe. We can do the material, but we don't have the clean room to do the mask. To produce a mask for medical staff use, it has to be conformed to certain standard. The material itself is conformed to the ASTM level, but not to the fabricated mask. So we need someone they can do so and have the same intention. What I mean the same intention, they don't aim this for profit making. They have no intention and they have no plan. Until today, they do not apply for any government funding, as far as I know.
Sure.
They do donate a very remarkable number of masks to the medical staff in order to make a balance for, they do some sale too. This is only a balance for their, material cost. And we try to help them also, not just supplying them the material. We also help them for the mask design, all the equipment, you know that at that moment, not to mention about mass, no matter mass related thing like the material, machinery, everything is in shortage.
Yeah.
You couldn't get it. So once our factory can resume work, because this mask is actually made in our own factory. We have we modify some simple machine because our factory is able to make our own tooling mold as well. We try to, do some simple job in order to make such, and also helping them some simple equipment in order to form a mask like this. So this is, for the time being, only have Vitagreen, we have only so on, and then eventually we sold it to
Choifeng Hong.
When we found our production, yes,
Sure.
we feel confident
Sure.
to commit a quantity to Choifeng.
That's because so many customers, they call us, they want to buy the box of filter, but we don't do the retail, so we need to find a channel.
So they have you sell it to individual B2C.
Yeah. But we don't want to just stop because they have the mask, the customer they have the mask, but if we are not offering the filter, so it seems we don't want to stop this thing, but we need to find a channel to sell the filter. Yeah.
Our role at that moment, when we when our production stable, the quality can be handled, our main objective at the moment is try to boost our capacity and play a balance between nano filter and mass material. To Vitagreen, their supply, their output is so low because all manual. It's unlike, a fully automatic machine. So their output is very limited, number one. Number two is, they are actually a pharmaceutical factory. Could you imagine all of a sudden their worker became, and then they have no knowledge on it, and then they...
This is why I'm doing this research, it's so interesting.
And so we try to, at the very beginning, they will try to, keep all the excess, other than reserve material for our own use. If I can have more, we will try to use all this material for the public, in order to see if we can favor more people to have some quality material of mask.
So apart from selling to Vitagreen, K-Kwang and Choifeng, have you ever given for free? Like you donated your mask material, this filter material for free to the communities, the people who need them?
From myself, I try not to, especially for the public. Once I do it, I'm in serious trouble. Seriously, I'm serious. To my friend, even my friend, I'll tell them, keep it to yourself. Don't tell anyone, because it's very hard for you to say no. Yanto, when I have been doing filters for decades. When this COVID-19 encounter, I feel so sorry for my family. No one called me, but my mother, my brother, my sister called me and said, "Sis, do you think your air filter can be mask?" I said, maybe. I don't understand why you don't do it. Why? And even my friend always keep asking me, why? Because this is not happening when SARS happened. Same question. And I said, I don't have equipment, and at that moment we don't have nano. No. I understand that the material is not good. It's not good for. I try to find lots of excuses, but at this time COVID-19 really made me ashamed. And I even asked myself, why can't you do it? The reason why I couldn't do it because I knew it will spend lots of money, and I'm not sure whether it can be successful. This is my biggest concern. So, but after all, everywhere, when he came to me, and I know this is we have to do it. We have to do it, because if we don't give it a long shot, that will be nothing.
When was your production capacity became stabilized? By how many weeks or how many months from the first day you start talking to Dr. K. Kwong? How long did it take you to stabilize the whole production? By May? It's not so long ago.
Today is June. Not so long ago. I think around a month ago.
A month ago, in
The
May.
reason is, why couldn't we? Why it took so long to stabilize? You know why? Material. When we receive, I just explained to you this polypropylene. This is 30 GSM, the top layer, and then the inner layer also 30 GSM. We could get the material because of the material shortage. Can you imagine that word? 偷工減料. Please translate the word. I don't know how to say 偷工減料 in English.
You use a lower quality.
Yeah, when something in need, they try to save more material to make more money. That's it. So when we receive the material, when we encounter the thinner material, we notice, because our lamination machine is so fine, we can't. Okay, we try to not press it too hard, damage it, so we just lightly touching it. So, but when it's lighter than the lower limit, it doesn't work. It's all puffy, and then wow, all the thing is among because our operating line is 1.6. Among 1.6 our operator, only 1/10 has the dot, and the rest is nothing. And I was, but when it happened, you couldn't just stop it. Oh, stop it! No, not like this. You have to run all over the road because that road is so heavy, and then we rewind it and unwind it and all sorts of things. At that moment, how could I say stabilize? I couldn't even use the single source because there is no single source. We have to select the supplier. Before we bought the material, do you know we have to pay 100% in advance? To do so, we must be comfortable and sure the material is conform. When you learn one lesson, you will be every time it took so long time to identify a good material.
So it's risky, right? You need to pay in advance, buy all the material and try, and you don't know whether it works or not.
It happened to the 100 of factory makers today. It still happens.
So all of them are facing the problem
now, and eventually many of them will end up winding up because they have no knowledge and testing equipment to test the material. We have our own testing equipment. Our good thing is we are making air filters. So the basic testing equipment already in place. We can test the material immediately. And we can even send our people to test the material before I pay. So this is but when you learn more and more, all we can't do is, you can check randomly, but you can't check all the material.
Sure.
So when we encounter such unstable supply, how could you tell the next one? Because next day, the PP material increased from, since we purchased the PP material for the mask, it increased from $1, for instance, $1 to $5.
5 times.
This is not the worst. The nightmare is that that is the beauty of the total story. Why we do the mask nanofilter? Because everybody is looking for the major ingredient, which is the microfilter. Our nanofilter, 0 microfilter. That means our price will not affected by the crazily high microfilter. The microfilter ranges from normal price 20,000 per ton. Highest 800,000
per ton.
And you are not sure whether this is the grade A material or not. That is the nightmare.
Wow.
For us, I'm not bothered by that. We are not bothered by that because our core function layer is the nanofiber itself. That's it. All we care about is the unimportant material, but still, this is mask material. We still have to face, the cost increase from time to time, and also we have to face the supply, whether this is, enough or not, or in time or not. So that's the reason why every time when we receive some inquiry or new order, we try to play safe and try to play a bad guy, high-priced guy, in order to, sorry, we can't help you like that, When we offer them, how fast can you make delivery? Because at that moment, everybody just want quick. Even though you want 100 times selling price, they are willing to pay if you are able to make delivery tomorrow. Seriously. But to us, I don't even know when can I get the material. That's the point. And even though I got the material, and I'm not even know, not until we load onto the machine, we don't even know. Okay, I got, for instance, 1 million, the quantity good for 1 million masks, but that end up, the good one can be only like 100,000, 1/10 of it.
So right now we have like maybe 70 to 100 face mask factories in Hong Kong. Do you think that's a good phenomenon? Is it a good thing or not? Or there may be some problems with having such number of face mask factories?
I wouldn't say, I'm not sure whether this is good thing and bad thing, but I can see one thing. Such a large number of mask factories. Where do they get the material? Until today, we cannot get any material from China if you don't have some special permit.
Sure.
And do you think they can get the material from overseas? I don't think so, because they are also having the same trouble.
Sure. Europe is still in the peak of
America
the COVID-19.
even worse. So I don't know whether this is a good thing or bad thing, but have factory, of course, a good thing. But whether this is a complete chain, this is a complete supply. You have the factory for making masks, but you don't have material. What's the point? I don't see the point.
Sure. When you sell it, do you put a brand, or do you care about putting a brand name in your nano filter? Just multi-age.
Let me put this way. We do care much about our brand. This is our image, our reputation. When we giving the material, just the material, thereby trying to get only the material from us, we will tell them that unless we clearly know their application, otherwise we refuse to do so. The reason is different application will end up different result. But from consumer point of view, they have no such knowledge to define whether this is the issue came from the material itself or the design. So if the things, whenever carry our training, it has to be made by ourselves, or we fully cooperating and understood their application and understood their design, and we agree to them to use our training, because we know their application or their fabrication will not undermine the material itself. Under these two circumstances, we will do so. Otherwise, we will just sell them like, this is the material conform to what standard, that's it. The rest, how are you going to use it? It's not our business.
Sure. Do you have other co-investors who help you invest to make this mask? Or you don't have any other new investors? It's just you yourself, the existing owners who are doing this?
We are self-contained.
Okay. I think you've talked about the design of the mask. Okay. Do you think a lot of people in Hong Kong who, we have about almost 100 face mask factories, are they driven by profit? Are they driven by a desire to help people. I mean,
Maybe he
help the
knows
community.
better because yeah, he is in the committee of that.
I think most of the people they want to Victoria. My personal opinion, because for myself, if I'm not doing the air filter, I cannot see any reason why I'm making a new factory, then making the mask. Because maybe a few months later, if China or other countries they become normal, there's no any reason why we make the factory in Hong Kong. It's so expensive, the expenses. So personally, I think.
They're mainly driven by profit.
Yeah. But maybe I know maybe some enterprise, maybe some guys are very rich. Maybe they want to make some filter. But I mean the mask. Sorry, the mask for the public. Honestly, because they have so many money already, they don't like to spend a few millions dollars to do that. But
I think when we encounter so many, inquiries for the filter material, some of them, especially the large enterprise, I don't want to blame who, but they do have good concern on their employees, and whether they have applied for the fundings or what, I'm not sure. But while their staff, when they approach us for the mask material, sometimes we can share our thoughts, and then yes, actually he is good. Because he thought of us, he invests for such mask making machines. It's only for them. Because here in Hong Kong, if they have thousands of employees, a lot of companies like that, right? But it happened to us, and they approach us, big company like that, a few company like the public utility company. They making masks, but they don't sell. They don't do it for sale. Yeah, they only do it for their own staff. I think they have the same concern like us. They just want to have a quality mask.
Sure.
That's it. They are not looking at about how much they can. No.
Sure.
But seriously, even they make the mask for money, for profit. There's fair. Right? Everyone is working for the money.
Do you think the demand for masks and mask nano material, is it a short-lived trend, or is this going to be a demand for a longer time, in your view?
Initially I thought it was wasn't work because of the manufacturing cost. It's so high. That is the only reason why I never thought of making mask material. Because if there was no COVID-19, would you spend 10 times or even more for a mask? Would you? No, I didn't think so. So we never thought of making masks, because all our equipment is target HEPA material, which is the high-end filtration material. What's the reason why I look at the disposable material, which you will throw it every day? You wouldn't spend too much on such thing unless necessary, right? So this is never be in our plan. But after this incident, I saw one thing very unbelievable. Many people realized they knew a new material. Why I said that is, before we make mask material, we didn't know there is mask made of purely nanofiber. There is mask, there is one in Hong Kong, but they are not purely made of nanofiber, unlike, because we can't find any meltdown. That's why we only can lean on nanofiber. But to do this is so costly. Only stupid people can do this. But now, no, it made us have a new thought that no, this is not stupid. This is only a new material for the people to accept it. Why do people want to accept it? Because it has its advantage. The reason why the manufacturing cost is so high is because of such equipment is so unpopular. Imagine one day, when this thing become popular, like Meltron PP, do you think the manufacturing cost is still that high? Now, all the manufacturing is mainly due to the equipment. The material itself is, now, even though you don't make masks, I already told you about the PP, right? Common material. I already told you that 1 gram of nanofiber equal a football court. So no matter even this nanofiber polymer, expensive like gold, it's still okay, right? I can make how many masks like this at that size? You understand material cost. So why such a high cost is all because of the operation, because the environment to make such thing is so harsh.
You need a big equipment, big space, and the people. These are all the fixed costs.
Not just. It's about the humidity control, the temperature control, the cleanliness of the room, and also the electricity they consume is like a big eater. Okay, in order to generate such fiber. So all the high cost is only due to the manufacturing cost and the equipment. Material is nothing. So imagine when times goes by, the equipment become more and more popular, the cost will go down for sure. And along the day goes by, but the technology will be upgraded, will be advanced day after day. In the past, why nobody advanced it? It's been stagnant for 20 years. It's all because there is no testing equipment to look at nano-size thing. That's the only reason why such a long stagnant. After that, it's opened because now they already, after 20 years trial and error, they already break that door. And then now they can see the things, they can do more on it. We believe that in the coming 5 years, it will rapidly grow in a rocket times like speed. I noticed that after this COVID-19, we saw some funny masks made of nanofiber. They can even use nanofiber to make visible mask.
Visible mask.
Imagine that? Seriously, I'm not joking.
You can see through someone, see the mouth talking.
I can see you smiling or smirking or what. The reason why they want such masks because imagine in the hospital, they look after the patient. They can only see their eyes, but actually, the medical staff try to show sympathy to them. They try to comfort them when they are in pain. If you see someone slightly smiling at you, do you feel better? This is what the Western people believe, and that's why they have such fault. Second thing is just like Dr. Kong recently advocated. He said some with hearing problem people would have to see your lips in order to, but you can't expose yourself. This is the lead why visible mask. Then make me realize, oh my God, COVID-19 really make a radical change. Do you, for medical staff, for some people, dying people, I think they don't mind to spend a little bit more to look at a smiling face.
Yes, visible mask.
And also we found maybe the equipment, because our equipment is from Europe, they also make masks for themselves and also to help the government.
Sure. Do you have competitors right now?
Purely nano? No.
So we can say that you are pretty much the only player so far.
Many players now.
Many players.
Why I said no, because we are truly in mass production of it. The other, they can do mass production, but what they can do is different. Some, they don't have lamination equipment. They can only produce the nanofiber, yes, like our machine maker, like many makers in China. But like I said, no one ever thought of using nanofilters for mask because it's too expensive. But we have the complete, comprehensive production line in order to make these things happen. I think in the meantime, as at today, I would say yes, in such scale, such production scale,
No competitor.
I think we are the only one.
Sure. Have you heard about illegal masks or illicit masks?
What's
Is there-
illicit masks?
I want to know how you define. Is there such thing called illegal mask? Illegal mask.
What's your definition of illegal?
I don't know. Some people that we talk to, they define illegal masks as masks that are substandard in terms of its function, or not produced by proper factories or proper people
Proper
with the
standard.
with the right skills. I don't know. I mean, do you think there is such products in the market like that called illegal masks or illicit masks?
Of course.
I just know that from the news. What kind of illegal masks? Maybe they have a factory and they sell their masks through the online. But eventually they don't have the material. But what they do is buy another mask from Indonesia, from China, and then just put it into their box.
I see.
But I just knew that from the
But some
news.
of them do not. I think, especially the makers in Hong Kong, some of them are not doing this intentionally. The reason why it happens is all because they are lack of knowledge and testing equipment. I do believe that some of them do have the heart to make masks, but the time, they need times to overcome from zero to something great, right? It can't happen in one night. So I think some of them do want to make something for the community.
So China is starting to get back to normal, right? So do you think
so? No, I don't think so.
of course, apart from the Beijing visit, but it seems that apart from Beijing, the other parts of China are slowly getting to normal. And do you think if the face mask production ecosystem in China is getting back to normal, how is this going to affect Hong Kong's face mask production ecosystem? What is the impact, do you think?
There are many people in China because I think their resources is much more than us. Many capable people not thinking of building mask factory. In fact, they are thinking, or no, they are doing for material factory. If this happens at such rate, I think Hong Kong can benefit to have, that will mend the disadvantage of having 70 to 100 factories in Hong Kong. I think this is a good thing. I see this is a good thing.
So China can supply more of this raw material.
Yes. If they could have more material, not only for themselves, because after all, they are making business. They wouldn't, hold the material for nothing, right? Yeah. But after all, because if the government seeing, they will select the quality supplier, the top quality supplier for themselves. Using that word may not be too good, least or a little bit average quality can be benefit to to the rest, to the citizen. Because for citizen, we don't need to have the top quality, right? Just normal quality is good. I think this can benefit. Okay, I will see this as a good thing.
Can Hong Kong become the world's hub, the world's center of excellence for face mask production, do you think?
Why we have to do this? What's the reason you think we have to do this?
I'm asking this to everyone.
Again, same. Mask is changing every day. Daily disposable
I
items.
see.
for daily using, you don't want to spend much on it unless you have such need, unless you are in such profession. But for those segments, it's too small for us. The overhead cost in Hong Kong is really too high, and it's not a favorable place to have manufacturing. Seriously, we don't even have space for living.
Yeah.
Come on, you talk about factory, and also having the factory in Hong Kong is kind of polluted.
Yeah.
You don't want to see that. If you ask me, making masks in Hong Kong, good or bad, unless you are making high class one. Otherwise, forget it. Why don't you bother? Now the people in China have a machine like this size. I mean, that office size, not conference room size. Office size can produce 1,000 masks a minute.
A minute.
Yeah.
I saw that in the newspaper.
Yes. Make no sense. But I would say Hong Kong will be a good hub for technology transfer. Yeah. To using because here it's still convenient for travelers still.
Sure.
And small, and the people can master multi languages, and the people minded is quite Western, Eastern, quite branded well. And I think here is a good place. It is a good hub for internet technology transfer. Honestly, Yanto, our factory in Taiko for making nano filter. This is only a stepping stone. This facility is going to transform as a research center for technology exchange.
R&D.
Yes, exactly. We actually have our own land in Henan. You know where it is? It's in the center of mainland China. This is our own land. So we will probably think about building our factory either in our own place or somewhere else. It all depends on the government policy. Because government policy play an important role. Why is that? Again, back to the manufacturing cost. Among all the visible things you just talk about, those intangible expenses like the permit, the environmental permit, and the permit to buying dangerous goods, and the transportation cost, because if you don't have such permit, you can't, buy too much thing or store too much thing in your facility. And all these things is mainly rely on the government policy. If they do not support you, now you probably go to hell. You can't
do it.
Definitely. Yeah. We've been fighting for this for more than 2 years in order to obtain our license.
In China?
No, even in Hong Kong. In China, because this one here, I don't want to say too much because it's not uneasy unless you have superpower. Otherwise, no.
Understand. Have you exported your masks to other countries? Your mask nanomaterials?
In terms of sale, no. But in terms of kind of like aid, yes.
Oh, okay. So that means you sell to someone and someone give it for free or to someone else?
We don't sell any material overseas. We just give it to them. And also we give it to them, sometimes give to them anonymously. Yeah, we don't want to say anything.
So out of how much nanomaterial that you produce, how much do you give it for free to
very few.
1%?
I don't know.
Sure.
It's a lot. I think in terms of the material, it's nothing. It's trivial. But in terms of delivery charge,
the
and the tax, it is horrible.
Understood. Should face mask production be regulated by government policies, do you think?
But I don't know this game until now because we have no intention to make face masks.
Yeah.
So what's the regulation is about? Honestly, I don't know.
Okay. But you do believe it's better if there is a government policy to govern how face mask factories are operated.
Of course. Of course.
So, what about wearing face masks? Do you think should it be regulated by the government? Wearing face masks
What do you think, Lisa?
So how?
You mean wear the
Wearing
face
mask.
mask?
You
Yeah.
have, you
For
have,
people.
you have to wear a mask.
I think you don't have to have any regulation for wearing a
We
mask.
don't, but
Yeah.
I think the question is should
Should
government
we,
do that?
should we or should we not do that? Because different countries have different
Put it
policies.
this way, Yanto, I know you are from Australia, right?
I studied in Australia.
Okay, so what do you think when you're wearing a mask in Australia?
Well,
Without
they-
COVID-19?
They have a very different culture for sure. They will think if you wear a mask, it means you must be very, very sick.
Yeah.
While in Hong Kong, if you wear a mask, it means that you want to protect people around you.
Yeah.
Of course, you protect yourself and protect other people.
Yeah.
So people in Western countries, they think differently. For sure.
Yeah.
My son is in Melbourne,
Ah.
and then he tried to wear a mask like this, and then everybody look at him and they just, they don't like it. They even, try, they bully it.
Yeah.
Cute.
Yeah.
Don't know why, so difficult question.
So, okay. So I think you mentioned this earlier on. Hong Kong government have provided some funding or subsidy to have some face mask factories to start in Hong Kong. Do you think that is a good initiative by the government? Do you think should government do more of this, supporting, giving funding to face mask factories in Hong Kong?
Yes and no.
What are your ideas or concerns?
Yes, they should get someone experienced to do this. Now, there is only two. End up one very successful, but whether this successful would like to continue or not is next thing. The other one is so many of them are going to die.
CU mask is the one of them. I think
I make no comment
Sure.
on CU mask,
Sure.
but I'm not going to wear it.
Sure. Okay. But what suggestions will you give to the government in terms of their policy, in terms of mask production?
They need someone speak the same language with relevant experience to form such committee in order to do so. They do need someone like an advisor. Otherwise,
Maybe someone like Dr. K. Kwong who understand the technicalities of materials.
at least they can't find the commercial people, because now you are talking about factory, but the factory already dying in Hong Kong for more than 30 years. Among their committee, how many person is engaged in manufacturing process and for sound background? I don't see much.
I think
If they could have someone like this, when they set out the criteria for such funding is good because it drives the people, to think of make impossible to do into possible. That is a good motivation. I totally agree with. But the thing is, can you see another bad side is, are they able to produce the quality mask? Are you using the money wisely? If you can use the money wisely, it could have helped more people. But they don't have such committee member in order to, maximize the resources to the right place, right people.
Sure.
They just try to attract the people to do things, but they don't have experience to evaluate whether the people is capable. They just set the general guideline, like, okay, you must conform to ASCM thing, you must do, and then they don't talk about, do you have experience for that? Why didn't they ask that? You don't even have the manufacturing experience. Why don't you talk about the air filter thing or mask thing? Too much new thing happen in one time. Do you think what's the chance of making it happen? No.
how many people do you think have benefited from your material?
My family,
I'm talking
my
about
friends, K-Con friends.
thousands of people, tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands.
K-Con's at 200,000 followers, right?
I think for the so on at the beginning, the NGO company, so the filter that we sell to them, they would give it to some elderly and also we share to them. But we don't know we don't know the numbers of people.
I see. Have you ever received any complaints about your materials, your masks? Complaints. Any complaints?
Complaints, but we cannot buy it.
I do always, every day almost. Madeline.
But it's not about complaining about the material itself.
You complaining not enough.
Not enough.
Yeah, Dr. Con complaining not enough.
That's why we are finding another channel to sell.
Yeah.
Because where can I buy your filter?
Yes.
We don't do the retail.
We also encounter some complaint on the Facebook. Why? I couldn't get your material. Oh, yeah, you have not enough material. Yeah, also not enough. Not about quality so far.
Sure. So I'm nearly the end here. Based on your experience in such a short time making all this nano material possible, what can other countries learn? And also not you, but also maybe other people's experience to set up factories. What can other countries learn from Hong Kong? If you were to tell other countries, what can they learn from us?
Be united.
Be united.
Be united. Believe yourself. Don't panic. Hands in hands. We make things happen. I thank to my team. I thank to them all. Without them, we couldn't make it. And after this incident, I discovered some of my employee here have been working with me for the shortest one. 係咪你啊，Lisa?
That's all. The second shortest one, but I've been here for 13 years already. 13.
And then the young guy, which is in our typo factory, he is the shortest one, but wow, my God, he's encountered the most horrible nightmare so far because he is the one to work day and night for since after the talk, since February until May. And also Jimmy, Madeline, we work in order to make more this material. You have no idea. We're doing this day and night. Even me, one of the workers. I'm the one of the workers too.
Did you sleep very little during those period of time? Did you sleep very little?
I'm okay, but not to him. Yes, sometimes he looks like a panda, but today looks better. Got some cosmetic. Yeah.
Because you spent a lot of time in the factory, is that?
But looking back, I would say, if sometimes you think this is hopeless, no. When you are hands in hands together, you have company, and then just like clutch, comfort each other, talk to each other, think of something that, even though you think or you do something, you don't know whether it can be successful, but at least this process can make you, can give you a strength to hang on.
Sure.
Yeah. I don't know how, we don't know how we spend the time. The past days, past 2 to 3 months is like years, but happy. It's so happy when we stick together, and then when we make masks, sometimes when we make masks, we have to wear gloves, and then we realize, wow, it's so, it's so
a new job.
Like feeling, a mission. We have a mission.
Mission.
Every day have a target. Tomorrow you must deliver somewhere. Dr. Con. Otherwise, we keep calling. We bombard us. Yeah, we feel happy when you find something. You find your objective, even though in the adverse
situation.
Yes, then you have a goal. You just do it. No matter, you can make it or not. Just do it. Then the time you can move on. That's my motto. As long as you can move on, everything will be all right.
should every country have their own mask protection systems in your view? Do you think, or each country does not need to have? You can just buy from other countries. Or do you think it's better to have every country to have their own mask production system, which has many factories in each country?
Yes, because especially for medical staff, their facial structure is completely different. Because for some high-end masks, face fitting is important. So I think they should have their own manufacturing process or even standard in order to do so. Geographic thing, the facial structure, and the habit of the people will determine what sort of mask of such country makes. This is my understanding so far.
Sure. In terms of challenges, what has been the biggest challenges for you to do this nano mask?
Material sourcing.
Still materials. What are your next plans?
Make this guy successful.
Oh.
This guy is
Nano
to,
fiber air filter.
I will call it like indoor mask.
Indoor mask. So how do people use this? To
Simple.
Put in somewhere?
So just put it.
You just put this filter in your air conditioning in your home.
At home.
You know you have a filter with your air conditioning.
Yeah.
You just put it on, stick it.
Oh.
Yeah.
So there's somebody you can open, so you just put it there and just close it.
Yeah,
Exactly.
that's it. That's
Simple as that.
I think there will be a lot of demand for this.
Yeah, because this is kind of you can replace the air purifier in your home, combined with your air conditioning.
Sure.
That's what we sell it in Hong Kong. You can save your space. You don't need to put another machine in your room, in your home.
Right.
Yeah.
Where can people buy this? Can I buy this in the
Yeah.
supermarket or somewhere?
Supermarket, no,
Mm.
yeah,
Yes,
it's
but
now.
we have it online. Actually, we
Oh.
have our online
Oh,
store,
your online
so
store.
we just
Oh.
And
just
choice.
have it
Choice from
refrigerated.
You can look at here, the vent here.
Mm.
You will see a tiny
Right
strip. Can you see?
Yeah.
Yeah. Because it can kill bacteria. It's just not trapping it.
I think
It
I think
can kill bacteria.
my wife may be.
This is for you then. Please tell us your experience after that.
Yes. Because the principle is very simple. When we close the door, the air conditioning is keep recirculating in this room.
Sure.
So if the bacteria and the dust, etc., they trap and kill by the filter,
I see.
then the clean air come out again.
Come on.
After that, you keep recirculating.
I
So
see.
eventually, your home and your room will be
I see.
clean.
So this will be your next big project.
Yes. In our factory, because especially in China factory, it's not everywhere have air conditioning system. Imagine a mask like this. It's actually unbreathable.
Yeah.
With protection, it's unbreathable. So we have sometimes when some people will use some more breathable masks, but still we are worried about the environment. It's not okay. Then we try to custom make something in order to improve the indoor air quality, because we make the plastic injection. There is very many heating elements concentrate in one specific area. So in order to make that area more germless, we try to put this thing in order to improve the. Rather than wearing a mask like this is so very exhausting. Yeah.
Great. So are this material already pre-cut, or people need to cut themselves and then fit it with their own device?
Yeah, they have to cut it
Cut it
in order to cook
So this
with.
is just the material.
Yes.
Generally, this size can fit for free spin unit or window tap air conditioning. You just
Cut it into pieces.
Don't cover the entire area, just 2/3.
230.
In order to ensure the ventilation, the airflow is still the same.
You cannot
Not
cover
much.
the entire.
No, just like you can't cover.
Yeah.
You can't breathe at all. You leave it a little bit
bit of
open.
space.
Yeah.
Because we are not going to trap it in one time.
Yes.
As I say, we
Yeah.
just keep recirculating the air.
Yes.
I think we have covered most of these things. Do you have the additional questions that I haven't covered?
Lisa 陣間攞多個俾阿 Tiffany 啊。
I think in terms of education, you are I think you're chemistry.
No, actually, I'm an engineer.
You're engineer.
Yeah,
is it mechanical? Or
Mechanical, yeah.
Mechanical. And
I'm nobody.
you're in the business. You're the entrepreneur.
Yeah.
You're the entrepreneur.
Oh, yeah,
the
I'm entrepreneur. Yeah.
And Lisa is the marketing expert. Right?
Yeah, thank you for
Trying to be.
my approach,
Yeah.
my target.
And before you started this, so you said you have been in this for so long time. So
Since 1983.
okay. And
Is it older than you, Tiffany? I think so.
小朋友。
Yes, I can tell.
Okay. Yeah, I think I finished.
Yeah.
That's okay. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.